Alex, congratulations on your win. What is the key for your rhythm and consistency? And I would like to know if you have a ritual or a specific preparation before you go on court.
The People's Princess hit a wall, but watch out, the clay court comeback is coming. Stop whatever you are doing right now. Seriously. Put down whatever snack you are holding, find the most comfortable seat in whatever room you are in, and settle in. Because what we are unpacking today on Court Vision Plus is nothing short of a modern-day sports drama that has an entire nation gripping their hearts and the entire tennis world absolutely watching with wide eyes. We are talking about highs so dizzying they made history, and a setback so sudden it felt like a plot twist pulled straight from a Netflix series. We are talking about the girl who became a princess, hit a wall, and is now loading up for what could be the most spectacular clay court redemption arc this sport has seen in years. Yes. We are talking about the unstoppable, the undeniable, the absolutely sensational Alexandra Eala, the People's Princess of the Philippines, and, make no mistake, one of the most riveting storylines in all of women's tennis right now. Let's start from the very top, because this story deserves the full treatment. If you have been sleeping on Alex Eala, today is the day you wake up and pay attention. This is not just a tennis story. This is a national movement wrapped in a tennis racket. For years and years, the global sports spotlight that shone on the Philippines was almost exclusively reserved for boxing and basketball. The Philippines gave the world Manny Pacquiao, the people's champion, a man so beloved that crime reportedly dropped every time he fought, a man who made an entire nation of over 100 million people pause, breathe, and collectively scream at their television sets. That kind of national obsession, that kind of bone-deep love for an athlete, is rare. It is sacred. And then, quietly, steadily, through years of brutal training and sacrifice and heartbreak and triumph, along came a 20-year-old girl with a killer forehand, a blazing left-handed serve, and a spirit so fierce it could light up an entire archipelago. Alex Eala didn't just pick up the torch that Manny Pacquiao once carried. She lit a brand new one, and the whole world stopped to watch it burn. But before we get to the drama of the present moment, let's rewind the tape and truly appreciate how we got here. Because Alex Eala's journey is the kind of origin story that deserves to be told with full cinematic respect. Imagine being so talented, so obviously gifted, that the most celebrated tennis academy on earth comes calling before you have even figured out who you are as a person. At a jaw-droppingly young age, Alex left behind the comfort of her home in the Philippines and boarded a flight to Spain, because when the Rafa Nadal Academy spots a once-in-a-generation prospect, you do not say no to that invitation. She stepped into the tennis equivalent of an elite warrior training camp. The same academy that shaped the mindset of the king of clay himself. Imagine the pressure. Imagine the homesickness. Imagine the brutal, relentless days of grinding on the practice courts under the blazing Spanish sun while your friends back home are living their teenage years. But Alex did not crumble under any of that. She absorbed the Nadal ethos, that grit, that absolute refusal to surrender a single point, and then she combined it with something entirely her own. A Filipina fire. A fearlessness that nobody could teach her, because it was already in her blood. And then came the moment that shattered every glass ceiling. The 2022 U.S. Open Girls Singles Championship. New York City. Bright lights. The greatest stage junior tennis has to offer. And there was Alex Eala, a teenager from the Philippines, lifting the trophy as the first ever Filipino to win a junior Grand Slam singles title. The internet absolutely melted down. But the trophy wasn't even the most iconic part of the moment. When she stepped up to the microphone, in front of the cameras, with millions watching, she spoke in Tagalog. She looked straight into the lens and told her people, her nation, that this was for them. In that single, perfect, tear-jerking moment, the athlete became a symbol. The tennis player became the people's princess. Now, fast forward 3 years of grinding on the ITF circuit, cashing in on W50 and W100 titles, climbing the rankings step by painstaking step, learning how to survive on the cutthroat professional tour where the margin between glory and heartbreak is razor thin. Fast forward to 2025, when she did the absolutely unthinkable. As a wildcard qualifier at the Miami Open, a WTA 1000 event, one of the biggest tournaments in women's tennis outside of the Grand Slams, she began toppling giants. Iga Swiatek, the Polish juggernaut and multiple-time Grand Slam champion. Jelena Ostapenko, the explosive Latvian with the most terrifying backhand in the draw. Madison Keys, an American Grand Slam winner with ice in her veins. One by one, Alexandra Eala looked these seasoned warriors in the eye and took them down. She became the first Filipina in WTA history to reach the semifinal of a WTA 1000 event. An entire nation watched through tears and euphoria. Streets were quiet. Group chats exploded. And the tennis world officially took notice that a new force had arrived. That Miami run was the catalyst. It launched her deep into the global consciousness. It stacked her ranking points. It told the world, in the loudest possible way, that this was not a fluke, not a fairy tale moment, this was the arrival of a legitimate competitor. And she rode that wave beautifully through the remainder of 2025 and into 2026, stringing together consistent results, quarterfinal appearance after quarterfinal appearance, steadily clawing her way up to a ranking that once seemed like a distant dream. In Auckland at the start of 2026, she reached the semifinals. She navigated the Philippine Women's Open with grace, reached the quarterfinals of the Abu Dhabi Open, made the quarterfinals of the Dubai Championships, where, by the way, she dispatched world number 8 Jasmine Paolini in absolutely dominant fashion, 6-1, 7-6, because apparently Alexandra Eala does not care what number is next to your name. She recorded a revenge victory over Coco Gauff at Indian Wells in the round of 32, yes, that Coco Gauff, the reigning U.S. Open champion and world number 3. And she marched all the way to the round of 16 at the most prestigious non-Grand Slam event on the planet. Tournament by tournament, match by match, the ranking ticked upward. And then on March the 16th, 2026, it happened. The moment that made history. Alexandra Eala cracked the world top 30 for the first time in her career, reaching a career-high number 29 in the WTA rankings, the highest any Filipino player has ever been ranked in WTA Tour history. Read that again. The highest any Filipino player has ever been ranked in WTA Tour history. This is not a small thing. This is a monumental, generational, seismic achievement. They broke barriers simply by existing at that level, simply by showing up ranked 29th in the world, simply by proving that the Philippines belongs at the absolute top of the global tennis conversation. The celebrations across Manila were electric. Social media went completely haywire. And then, as the sports gods have a cruel habit of doing, the universe decided it was time to throw a plot twist straight into the middle of the fairy tale. The Miami Open, 2026. The Hard Rock Stadium in Florida. The scene of her greatest professional triumph exactly 1 year ago. Alexandra Eala arrived carrying the weight of those memories, carrying a career-high ranking, carrying the hopes of a nation, and she was drawn against Czech player Karolina Muchova in the round of 16. And what unfolded next was the kind of match that leaves you staring at the score in disbelief, refreshing the page because surely the numbers must be wrong. They were not wrong. Muchova dismantled Eala 6-love, 6-2 in exactly 60 minutes. The opening set lasted 22 minutes. The Czech converted every single one of her 5 breakpoints. She fired 20 winners against just 11 unforced errors, while Alex managed only 7 winners and committed 32 errors in total. Muchova did not even face a breakpoint. Not one. The People's Princess, arriving at the house of her greatest triumph, was swatted aside by a player who was simply on a different planet that afternoon. Now here's where the tabloid narrative gets genuinely fascinating, because the numbers go deeper than just that one match. It turns out there is a full-blown curse operating here that nobody in the Eala camp has figured out how to break yet. Since turning professional in 2020, Alexandra Eala has never beaten a player from the Czech Republic. Not once. Not a single time. Her record against Czech opponents now sits at 0 wins and 13 losses.
But we'll want to keep her serve unbroken throughout this round of 16 tie.
13. Her Czech tormentors include some of the most decorated names on the tour: Markéta Vondrousová, Barbara Krejcikova, Linda Fruhvirtova, Marie Buzkova, and now Karolina Muchova, who added her name to the list with almost insulting ease. The tennis media labeled it the Czech curse, and it is very real, very documented, and very much the puzzle that Alexandra Eala needs to solve if she is going to break through to the very highest levels of this sport. The ranking consequence was immediate and brutal. Having earned 390 precious ranking points from her semifinal run in Miami last year, she only collected 120 from this year's exit. The deficit of 270 points sent her tumbling 16 spots down the rankings in a single week, the biggest drop of any player in that entire update cycle. From a career-high 29, she crashed to 45, then slipped further to 46 in the live rankings as other players around her accumulated points at the Charleston Open. 17 spots wiped out in the blink of an eye. The kind of drop that makes even the most casual observer wince. But here is the thing, and this is the part that is genuinely exciting if you understand how the WTA ranking system works. This setback, as painful as it looks on paper, is not a disaster. It is actually setting the stage for something potentially explosive. The points she is defending over the next 2 months are almost non-existent. She has essentially 0 points to defend heading into the clay court season. Which means every single point she earns from here on out is pure gain. Pure upward momentum. If she reaches the semifinals at the Linz Open in Austria, she pockets 195 fresh points and almost certainly cracks back into the top 30. If she wins the whole thing, she collects 500 points and could find herself ranked as high as 23rd in the world, a brand new career high. And after Linz, she heads to Stuttgart, then to the WTA 1000 Madrid Open in Spain, where she holds exactly 0 points to defend from last year. Every match she wins in Madrid is pure profit. The math, quite simply, is on her side. And let us not overlook what Alexandra Eala herself said after the Miami loss, because this young woman's composure in the face of a difficult defeat is one of the most compelling things about her. She faced the cameras, sat in front of the reporters, and spoke with a clarity and a groundedness that made you genuinely respect her. She said, clearly and calmly, that even after a great win, she is not all that great, and after a bad loss, she is not all that bad. She talked about giving the same effort, the same focus, everything she has, in every single match, regardless of the outcome. She talked about being excited for the clay court season, acknowledging that it is a surface with a lot of room for growth, and framing that not as a weakness but as an opportunity. There was no drama, no deflection, no making excuses about pressure or expectations. Just a 20-year-old woman processing defeat with the emotional intelligence of a seasoned veteran 3 times her age. That, right there, is why people cannot stop watching her. She is coachable, she is grounded, she is honest, and she is hungry. The clay court campaign begins Monday the 6th of April at the Upper Austria Ladies Linz Open, a WTA 500 event. She enters without a seed, having just missed the cut after her ranking drop, facing a field that includes world number 10 Mira Andreeva as top seed, defending champion Ekaterina Alexandrova, Clara Tauson, Ludmila Samsonova, Yelena Ostapenko, and a host of other elite players who are absolutely going to test every layer of her game. Clay is a different world from the hard courts where she has made her name. It rewards heavy topspin, patience, physical endurance, and the ability to construct long, grinding, tactical points from the back of the court. Analysts have pointed out that Alex's serve, which was absolutely exposed in Miami, she won only 39% of her first serve points against Muchova, will need dramatic improvement if she is going to compete at the very highest level consistently. Clay gives her a chance to develop different patterns, to work on shot construction, to build the all-around game that separates good players from great ones. And standing right behind Linz on the schedule is the Stuttgart Open, another WTA 500 event, followed by the Mutua Madrid Open, a tournament where Alex Eala has already shown she belongs, having won her first ever WTA 1000 main draw match there in 2024 and returning this year without a single point to defend. Madrid on clay, in Spain, at a tournament hosted in the country where she learned to love the sport. If you were scripting a comeback story, you could not write a better backdrop than that. Here's the bigger picture that makes all of this so compulsively watchable. Alex Eala, at 20 years old, is currently sitting at number 19 in the WTA race to the finals, the season-long standings that determine who gets to compete at the prestigious year-end championships. The top 8 qualify. She is not there yet, but she is within striking distance, and the clay season is exactly the kind of extended stretch where points can accumulate quickly. She holds 4 wins against top 10 players in her career record. She has proven she can beat anyone on her best day. The question that the entire tennis world is now asking is whether she can find the consistency, the tactical evolution, and the technical improvements to be a threat on every surface, not just when the conditions perfectly suit her game. The narrative around Alex Eala right now is not one of failure. It is one of a young woman in the process of becoming. She arrived in professional tennis and immediately captivated the world. She made history as the first Filipino to win a junior Grand Slam singles title. She made history as the first Filipina WTA 1000 semifinalist. She made history as the highest-ranked Filipino player in WTA Tour history. And now, after her first truly painful, high-profile ranking setback, she is walking into the clay courts of Europe with absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. The Czech curse will be broken eventually, because talent and will and relentless hard work always find a way. The serve will get sharper. The tactical repertoire will expand. The pressure of defending points and managing expectations will become familiar weight that she carries with grace. Because here is what the scoreboard at Miami could not measure. The Filipina fans who stayed up all night to watch, who wept and cheered and wore the blue, red, yellow, and white of their flag in the stands at Hard Rock Stadium, they are not going anywhere. The magnitude of national pride that this 20-year-old carries on her shoulders every single time she steps onto a tennis court is unlike anything the WTA Tour has seen in a long, long time. She walks out there for an entire nation. She plays for every Filipino child who ever looked at a tennis court and wondered whether someone who looks like them could one day belong there. She is the answer to that question.
Sabihin na there was a moment of realization where I thought, oh, ang galing ko pala mag-isip. And sa tingin ko,
she already is the answer, regardless of the final score on any given Monday night in Miami. The clay court swing starts now. The Linz Open is days away. Stuttgart follows. Madrid awaits. And somewhere down the road, those Grand Slam courts at Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open are sitting there like destiny, patient and certain. The People's Princess is not done writing her story. She has barely started the second chapter. And if the first chapter, the homesickness in Spain, the junior Grand Slam glory in New York, the history-making Miami run, the career-high ranking, and the humbling lessons of a brutal Miami exit, if all of that was just the build-up, then ladies and gentlemen, the main event is going to be absolutely breathtaking. Do not look away. This is Court Vision Plus. We are right here, every step of the way, tracking every serve, every breakpoint, every ranking update, and every chapter of the most compelling story in women's tennis right now. If you are as locked in on the Alex Eala journey as we are, if you felt that Miami loss in your chest and you are already counting down the days to Linz, then you know what to do. Smash that like button, drop a comment below and tell us exactly what you think Alex needs to do to break the Czech curse once and for all, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss a single update. This is Court Vision Plus, your front row seat to the greatest drama in sports, and we will see you on the next one.
Hello mga kababayan na nandito sa Melbourne. Sobrang excited na ako maglaro dito at sana magkita-kita tayo sa Monday or Tuesday, hindi pa ako sure.